What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is Arrow Season 4, Episode 22, Lost in the Flood. Um, Unfortunately, like most of this season, I would say this episode is a fairly good episode with some problems. The biggest problem for me is just, once again, I don't mind Felicity's mom, but in smaller doses. She's been such a huge part of this season, whether it's being with Captain Lance, whether it's talking to Felicity through her engagement, then breaking it off, and all of that stuff. She's been such a big part of this season, and I'm sick of it. I'm just so done with her. And I don't want to sound like I'm a jerk, but I can't be the only one that just thinks, okay, I'm annoyed. She's got to go. Like, please just take her away. Make her go somewhere else. I really, the thought that Felicity now has to work with her dad because he's also an expert hacker, so now they're working together to save the world. I like that storyline, but then you throw her into the mix. And honestly, when you think about that, just I just said it out loud, and in my mind I'm like, actually that doesn't sound like a bad plot. But when you've had Felicity's mom around for the entire season, and you know what Felicity's mom is like, very annoying and like, whereas Felicity's awkward weirdness is charming and kind of adds to her personality and just makes her, that quirkiness just is very adorable on her. On her mom, it's amped up to like a level 10, and that just makes it annoying. And like I said, whenever it's in small doses, it's funny. For that one episode that she's there, I'm just like, yeah, she's awkward. It makes things awkward for Felicity. That's hysterical. I'm done. This whole season has been, let's just throw her in there. Now she's crying. Now she's happy. Now she's screaming. Now she's all this. I'm like, stop. She's got to go. So, that storyline is the biggest problem with this episode. We find out some interesting things that probably would have been more interesting had I not been so fed up with Donna. And, finding out that she's the one that kicked out Felicity's dad. He didn't leave. She actually made him leave. No, actually, she left him with Felicity. So, find out that she's been lying this whole time, which, from what's happened earlier on in this season, doesn't that mean that Felicity should be forever pissed at her mom? Because she broke up with Oliver over him lying. And yet, for some reason, because it's her mom that lied to her, it's like, oh, okay, you're once again, inconsistency with your characters. Get it right, please. And yeah, just the entire episode, her sitting there, the lights are popping and flashing and stuff, and she's sitting there screaming, and I'm just like, why is she here? Like, why is she even a part of this? Aside from the fact that you've got Felicity's dad there. Like, that's the only reason it feels like to have her in this episode, so we can have a bit of tension between them. And it's the tension at the worst time. Like, in the middle of this, they're trying to stop the Rubicon from launching the missiles. They're going up against Felicity's ex-boyfriend hacker guy, and he's doing very well against them, and they're sitting there trying to, and all of a sudden Felicity's dad stands up and starts talking to Donna, and they're arguing now, and I'm just like, this isn't the time. This is not the time, nor the place for that. Do it after the action is over. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems that the show has, is that it tends to lose focus. Like, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finale was just last night. And I know it's weird to compare. It's like apples to oranges when you really compare the two, but the truth is that one of the reasons that I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so much is that they manage to find time for humor, but it's never at the wrong time. There's a very emotional scene, and during those emotional scenes, there's no humor. Because they know it's emotional. They know not to throw a joke in there, because if you do, it's going to ruin the moment. In that action-filled scene, you don't want a couple arguing because it just takes away from the intensity of the moment. You're just sitting there going, what is going on? Why are they arguing? Why are they still arguing? They've been arguing for now 30 seconds, and they're still in the middle of an intense scene. What is going on? It distracts from it. and it gets really frustrating to deal with. However, that is the one thing that I have an issue with in this episode. The rest of it was actually good. Um, you've got Oliver and Diggle head down to find Thea inside of this uh, safe haven, and yeah, it was very intense. When they finally get down there and find Thea, she's been brainwashed by the pill. Oh, Alex is dead, by the way. I don't know. Thea's reaction wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be. Like I said in the last review, I'm not sure if he's dead or not because Thea's just like, I'm so sorry. And I'm just like, what? Because he's knocked out? Because he's been put through all this? Because he's dead? Like, what does that mean? It turns out he is dead. Um, Oliver finds her, but she's been brainwashed by the yellow pill. Malcolm shows up. There's some fighting, very good action scenes as always. Oliver's like jumping over a bush, like doing a 180 around the bush, and arrow, and it just keeps going. I'm just like, okay, I can't help but enjoy this. That's just it's what you have to do in scenes like this. You just enjoy yourself, enjoy the action, even if it's very unrealistic to do a 180 and jump in midair and arrow. But yeah, it was a very intense scene. They finally find a house to hide in. The family that they talk to, though, and this is one thing that I feel like is going to sort of play into season 5 a bit, is this family that they encounter. They think that they've been brainwashed, and the dad of the family is like, no, we haven't taken those yellow pills. We know what it's like out there. We know that you can't save that. You can't save the city. It's impossible. And that kind of Oliver's just sitting there like, what if Damien Dark's right? And Diggle's like, he's a psychopath. I don't know what you're talking. He's a sociopath. I don't know what you're talking about. But when you really think about it, think about what the city's gone through in the past 4 years. Like, just really think. They got hit by an earthquake machine which killed several hundred people. They got attacked by super, like, humans. And then they were attacked by the League of Assassins. There was a war, even. The League of Assassins versus, the Civil War that was going on this season. And now a nuke has hit, like, not very close, not close enough to do any damage, but a nuke was very close to hitting them. And now a big explosion happens, and now there's a crater in this one section of the city, which I have to wonder how many casualties were there. Because whenever it started blowing up, I'm like, wait, does that mean that this is just going to blow up, or what does this mean? And then they escape, and there's a huge freaking crater where that thing was. Made me think of Fallout 4. If you played, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, it really does kind of make sense to think about these people here, about this safe haven where, yeah, it sounds a bit crazy to destroy the world and start over, but when you really look at what they've been through, it doesn't seem 100% crazy anymore. Maybe like 50%, but still, you can kind of understand why these people are willing to go with Damien Dark, even if they're not being brainwashed. So I think that's going to sort of play into season 5. The previews for next week showed that Oliver's going to be making a speech or something like that. So I feel like he's going to start. He's obviously, with Ruve Dark gone, now that means there's no mayor for Star City anymore. I think he's going to go back to his thought of, I need to help the city in the light, as mayor. I want to see that. I want to see that change. I want to see it become less of a, let's just go take out all these bad guys in the dark, and actually tackle some of this stuff as Oliver Queen, as mayor. It may not be as interesting as far as the action scenes, like when you really think about Oliver Queen as mayor, it's going to be very hard for him to be Oliver Queen, mayor, and the Green Arrow. So I don't know how they can handle that very well without people asking questions. But I do want to see a change. This show has done pretty much the same thing, and I thought there was going to be a bit of a change this season. But then after he dropped out of the mayoral race, it was kind of like, yeah, it's not changing. It's going back. So maybe this will instigate the change. I don't know. It's very interesting to think about. Other good things that were in this episode, Anarchy still is just such an enjoyable villain. Like, Ruve's talking to him and trying to reason with him. And he's like, "What made you think I'm a reasonable guy?" And it's just nothing. Exactly nothing. Um, he ends up killing Ruve Dark. So now Damien's wife is gone. But Oliver and company managed to save Dark's daughter. Um, and the one question I do have is, Anarchy was on that video screen saying, "Hey, Damien, I've got your wife and daughter. Come face me or else." And then whenever they finally show Dark after all of this has happened, he doesn't even realize that the base is exploding. So first of all, where is he? Because it looked like they were in the base, but it turns out they're not because it exploded and he's still in that room. And second, do they not, how are they not able to see those monitors and just quickly get the information to him? The fact that he didn't know about Anarchy right away. It took a good 2 or 3 minutes for Oliver and Thea and John to make it to the server room where Ruve was being held. And so the fact that Dark, even after all of this, still doesn't know that his wife and daughter are in danger kind of makes me question why. What happened? What was he doing in that time that caused him to miss that? But at the end, we get a bit of an intense scene where Dark's talking to Malcolm and hears that she's dead and wants to get Rubicon back online because he just wants the entire world to just burn. And that leads to the final scene where after we have to sit through some Donna and Noah stuff, she comes back into the room, says he's left, and then all of a sudden you hear Damien Dark's voice. He busts into the room, and that's where it ends. Which sets up really well for next week. And that's... I find that more and more, the episode right before the finale, you get one or two types of pre-finale episodes. You either get the pre-finale episode that has a ton of action that's going to lead into sort of a what happens after the action finale, which only happens in a few. Most of the time, most of the action's in the finale. And for those finales, the episode before that is a lot of build-up to kind of a cliffhanger, and then the finale is where it all happens. This one kind of felt like it may be a bit of both. You look at the Flash's pre-finale episode, and there's a lot of build-up, a little bit of action, but not a whole lot. And it looks like it's setting up for a pretty epic showdown for the finale. This one has some good action in it, a lot of good action, and it seems like there still can be a lot of good action in the finale. So I'm hoping they can carry that through. They can carry that promise of an epic finale through. Which, this show has disappointed before, so I'm not getting my hopes way too high, but it does get me excited for it. So the final thing to talk about, of course, is the flashbacks. Very limited in this one, I thought. Most of the time, the flashbacks, whenever they go back, it's 1 or 2 minutes, and then they come back to present time. This one, it felt like cut to flashback 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're back. It felt like very, very, very short flashbacks this time. And pretty much it's just watching Tiana go crazy because of the idol's effect on her. We see two guys shoot the crap out of her, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm okay." Oliver shoots them, they die, and then she gets their life essence into her. There's another guy who's escaping, who's seriously wounded, and she's just like, "He's not gonna make it. I need to kill him and use his power." And Oliver's like, "Wait, no!" And then she kills him, and then how it ends is Oliver has the idol. Baron Ryder shows up, and it looks like it's going to be a showdown between Baron and Tiana. So yeah, kind of hopefully an epic showdown there as well. Because the one thing that I've really been upset about this season is how little the flashbacks have connected. Up until once they finally introduced the idol, it finally showed why the flashbacks were happening for this season. Because that's one of the reasons why we watch the flashbacks, is to see how it connects to present day. If not, then you're just watching another completely different story. And it's hard to balance all of that. When you've got all of these little subplots going on, then you try to throw in an entirely different story into the plot, it just doesn't work. The first season tied in very well emotionally. Second season had the Slade connection. Third season had the Tatsu and Maseo. You know, it had that connection. This one is just very slim. The idol. You know, like that's the only thing connecting it. So maybe there's going to be some sort of showdown in the end where we get kind of a parallel between Tiana and Baron Ryder's showdown and Oliver and Damien Dark's showdown and how that connects. But I don't know. I've been disappointed with the flashbacks. Still disappointed. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe not. We'll see. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If there's anything that I missed and you want to talk about, let me know. We can talk about it. And as always, leave a like and subscribe for more Arrow. I'll see you at the finale next week. Peace out.